Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to Womenpreneurs, showcasing the inspiring journey of women entrepreneurs. This is your host, Yasmin Khan from SME Venture. Today, we have a wonderful guest with us who is a passionate MBA degree holder, entrepreneur, co-founder, CEO of Tilfi brand, Miss Aditi Chand. Welcome.
Thanks, Yasmin. Thank you for having me.
Aditi, today we'll try to find out facts about the brand which have maintained the legacy of Banaras textile heritage. So starting with my very first question, how did this business idea that preserves our culture come to you?
So Yasmin, sometimes they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you're in it, like all of us living in the country, you don't value things as much as when you view it as an outsider, when you're removed from the system. So for Tilfi, the idea germinated when my husband and my business partner and co-founder Udit and I were living in the UK. So we were just pursuing entrepreneurial opportunities outside. It was, textile and hand-woven textile was never something that we wanted to, it was something that his family had been doing, but not something we intended to join as a career opportunity, as a professional pursuit. But it was always something that fascinated us. And when you look at our handloom heritage, our textiles as an outsider, from a distance, it's fascinating. There is so much beauty there. There is so much legacy. There is such skill and such high quality of skill that it made us wonder, why is it that it is not something that India is known for internationally, globally, and why is it that such skill exists only in such pockets and it hasn't found a voice on a global platform? When we were living outside and I looked at the pieces and I looked at the kind of textiles our weavers make, and there was very little innovation, very little intervention. Nobody had made the investments to bring these to audience across the globe. Nobody had even looked at it that way. And we thought that there was a big opportunity, and it was something that we could take to the Indian diaspora at least. People. There are so many successful Indian entrepreneurs and professionals, who are living everywhere around the globe. And if they were exposed to the kind of heritage we had, we were sure they would find an audience. So the idea kind of germinated there when we were looking at it from an outsider's perspective. And every time we come back to India, we would advise on how we would tell our family members that you should do this. This is how we should approach our textiles. Back then, the whole supply chain was that these textiles would be given to retailers and then sold several layers down the line, and the artisan himself would get very little, which is why over a period of time there was little interest remaining. So we thought that there should be a creator's voice. It should be the weaver or the artisan himself that should be presenting these textiles. And as the maker, we thought that they should be brought to the fore. And these were all ideas. They were very new ideas, but we ourselves did not come back to do this till one of our weavers asked us. We were asking him that आप क्यों ये कला छोड़ना चाहते हो? How do you get your son to pursue this trade? And he asked us, it's like, why don't you do what your parents and what your grandparents had been doing for so many years? You yourself chose to go out. And that really struck a chord. And we said, the old man really does make sense, which is when we wrapped up everything and decided to come back to India to start with. So that was a long journey, but sometimes you see things more clearly when you're at a distance.
Yeah, so this journey started in 2016, right?
Right. So the idea germinated in 2013, but it took us almost 3 years to come back.
And you truly said that people don't value things when they have it. We value it when we lost it. So I would like to know how this brand name generated, like Tilfi. Can you give us the gist of how the entire backend story?
Sure. So Tilfi is actually, a kind of weave in Banarasi textiles. It's a weave where three colored yarns run continuously. So it's a technical term which is used within the context of, weaving in Banaras in particular. So it's a very colloquially used term. And it wasn't something that is commonly used outside of trade and weaving circles. So it's a very technical term that way. We chose it because just like three yarns run in the Tilfi weave continuously, for us, there are three values that we wanted Tilfi to represent. One is that we only use all natural fabrics in whatever we make, and we want to stand by that. Second is that whatever we produce, glorifies and builds on the art of hand. So right now, all our textiles are hand woven. Everything that we make is done by hand. And thirdly, we wanted our brand to stand for our home, our city, which is so enchanting, so mystical, and so full of history, Banaras. So everything that we make currently is made in and around Banaras. And in future, as we grow, we wanted always to carry the sense of heritage and sense of history that Banaras as a city has. So that's why we chose the name Tirupati. It also, because it's a name that comes from our roots in craft, we thought it is a good hat tip to the fact that we are a craft first brand. For us, that is paramount. So that's how the name came to be.
And I must say the name is very cute. Tilfi.
Thank you.
Short, sweet, very nice name. Uh,
Nice ring to it.
yes, yes. Like we, say I when I say Tilfi, it feels nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm
So,
glad.
tell us about the overall functioning of Tilfi. Like I know Tilfi don't offer discounts offer at all.
No.
Okay, so I am a very much lover of discounts and all, but I would like to know why
Sure.
Tilfi is not giving the discount and other overall functioning of Tilfi.
Sure, sure. No, so that's a very good point that you brought up, Yasmin. It's something that we keep debating about, but actually, no, there is no debate in our mind. It is not something that we want to do ever because it runs contrary to what we believe in. What we believe in is the value of the art of hand. It is for us, these textiles that we produce, they are like investment pieces. There is something, if you buy, it's almost like you buy a bottle of wine, its value just increases over time as it ages, or you buy a piece of art, it's getting rarer and rarer as time goes by. So similarly, we look at our textiles from a similar lens. For us, even as makers, it's becoming really hard to find the right skill to produce certain pieces, to encourage these artisans to continue to pursue this craft. They have to be compensated adequately. And why shouldn't their compensation rise? All of this discounts just don't make sense. On the contrary, we feel that something that you buy today should only be more expensive tomorrow, because only then will you feel that it is an investment that is worthwhile. So for us, like that's sort of the lens that we take when we look at our textiles. We don't look at them as fashion. We look at them as pieces of art, and art. The value of art is part of the value of the art is, of course, the intrinsic joy that it gives you, and the other part is that it is an investment whose value rises. So discounts just don't work for us. Why there is a debate is because, of course, there are a lot of consumers like you, Yasmin, who value a discount. An Indian customer always feels that it's like
A true Indian.
it loves a good deal. So to them, we say that what better deal can you get? That today what you buy is going to be more expensive tomorrow. So
Tomorrow, yeah.
what a good deal.
That's a very good point, counterpoint, and I do agree that if we are investing and we are getting something in future, that's a good investment. So I would like to know what are your views and how do you feel in nutshell, like Tilfi's textile taking place solely in Banaras, and it's trust over 2,000 highly specialized artisans and the workshops. How do you feel? What are your views?
So, when we started Tilfi, we started with Banaras because that's our home. We understand Banarasi textiles. We understand that ecosystem, and it was very important to us. Part of our founding values is that we want to support three things, which is craft, uh, the community that supports that craft, and the culture that we propagate. So those three levers are how we measure the impact that Tilfi creates. Our idea to commit ourselves completely to Banaras is because we think that for craft to flourish, there has to be a very, very, deep level of intervention. It cannot be something that is superficial. So today, if I decide to, probably dabble in Kanjivaram textiles or even Gujarati patolas or anything else, that would be expanding our breadth of influence, but it would not help us really improve, the sort of intervention that we can do if we commit to one sector. So, and Banaras happens to be wide enough to give us scope for that kind of innovation. The size of Banaras as a weaving cluster, weaving hub is very, very large. It's larger than most other handloom hubs in our country. So given that, we knew that we want to be committed to one, weaving hub. We want to be committed to our artisan community, and that there is enough scope for us to build that, like ground up in one sector. Uh, we did not want to distract ourselves by anything else. There are a lot of designers who do textiles, who do collections based around handwoven textiles from time to time, and they'll do one hub at a time. So maybe they'll do a collection of Banarsi, sometimes they'll do a collection of Kanjivaram, they'll do chicken curry maybe. So they do crafts like that. But we think that that can be a little disruptive to the market because these are artisans who are depending on this work for their livelihood. If you come and give them business for a certain period of time and then go out, it's actually worse than not doing it at all. So our idea is that our level of intervention should be sustained. It should be deep, where the artisan is also growing, maybe learning new skills, where there is incentive that he will get his future generations also involved in the pursuit. And to be able to do that, you have to commit to a cluster. So we are completely committed to Banaras, and we trust our artisans completely. We have a very strong empanelment process. So, like you said, we are at 2,000, we're around 2,500 artisans now. When we started, we had only about 300. So we have grown our scope over the years. But one thing which we try to maintain is that anybody who comes on board and starts producing textiles for Tilfi becomes a part of the Tilfi family. We ensure that they are growing and there is, sustained employment for them over a period of time. But we try and work with only the best in Banaras.
That's great. I must say you have strong hold on your values, your own city, and that's a very unique thing. Many people forget what we were or our roots, but you have developed a business from your root, and I must appreciate that. So I would like to know, how was your journey of leaving the international workplace and coming back to the homeland with the idea to restore this cultural heritage?
Very hard, very hard. I think it sounds very rosy, but the reality of working in a tier two city in India are very different. I think we've been fortunate that we came back at a time when India as a market was getting ready, and there was that opportunity to build organizations of scale, even from non-metro cities. Because if you think of any large startups, and we are a startup, we started only in 2016, so we're fairly young. Uh, back a few years ago, till maybe a decade ago, it it would be unthinkable for a company to reach a certain scale in the digital world starting from such a small space. But we've been very fortunate that we came at a time when India was waking up to the idea where there was this acceptance of new brands, of digital as a medium of sale, and the whole ecosystem around it has grown as we've grown. So just I mean, there've been a lot of challenges. Working in a traditional ecosystem, when I was in banking, uh, it's a cutthroat world, but people work by deadlines. They work, their motivations are clear, their motivations are either a promotion or very monetary motivations. With artisans and with creative professionals, it's not like that. So it's something that even I have to educate myself. It's like a give and take. I learn from our artisans what it is to live a creative life, and they learn from me how to run things in a professional way. How do you commit to certain quality standards, commit to standardization in production. To do all that is very hard, and it has taken us a few years to get there and to show them that this is beneficial for them in the long run. Now they've come to appreciate it. you know Earlier they wouldn't. It would be difficult for us to get the same sari woven again and again, because they were never used to it. It was something like, they'd make one piece and then they would change something, change something else, and they'd always want to fiddle around. They would say that iska to aapka inventory will pile up. What will you do then? And we had to tell them that there is a benefit in producing the same thing, and your hand will get better at it. And there is a whole business side of things, which we have to sort of handle them in that respect, and now they see the value in it. Similarly, just working with the ecosystem in Banaras, there was a time when it was so hard to get a stable internet connection. That has changed. And for me, coming from London and then Paris and Singapore, it was something inconceivable. Just to get to office was such a hard task. But I know that today some of our weavers, they take the train to come and deposit a sari which they've woven, and you have to appreciate that. And as more money is coming in clusters outside of our metros, as our cities are developing, everyone's lives will improve, and the economy plays a big businesses play a big role in that. So
Yeah, I was about to ask you the key challenges you face into this entire entrepreneurship journey, and you have answered it already, I think so. I can understand if there's an internet issue. Tier two,
yeah.
I was about to say there might be an internet issue. So that you pointed out. Now we would like to know what are the current stats of Tilfi in the market. What are your future plans, and how many employees you are currently working with? This all things we would like to know.
Sure. So currently, since we started in 2016, we've grown a lot. Like I said, we used to work with about 300 weavers. Now we have about 2,500 artisans overall who make our textiles, and that number keeps growing every day. A lot of them want to join, but we have a stringent empanelment process before we commit to taking somebody on board. As far as the team goes, we are split across Banaras and Delhi. We are about 30 people strong at present. And these include operation and logistics professionals. These include people who handle our marketing, communications, etc. Designers. We have textile designers and fashion designers who make these textiles that we eventually produce. Um, since the time we've started, we've serviced over 12,000 customers now, and they're across 30 countries or more. We've had some people place orders from, countries that I would have never even imagined that we would be shipping our textiles to. But there are purveyors of good taste, and there are people who are discerning in every part of the globe. We are fortunate that even sitting in Banaras, we can service those customers. And that makes me very proud because that is the conviction with which we started. And all of that is true. So it makes me very happy that I can ship to, even small islands like Ile de Ré or countries like Greece. We ship to all of them. Then in terms of our numbers on our website, they're very, very good. They've been growing steadily, and today we command a very high average order value of in excess of 30,000. Um, and we have a very, very high repeat customer rate, which is also very, very promising because that shows the faith that people have in Tilfi. Once they buy something, they always remember us and they keep buying for special occasions. So for our future plans, we are going to expand our portfolio beyond what we currently make, which is very geared towards the Indian diaspora. So today, most of our offerings are around traditional Indian wear, which is saris, ornis, dupattas, lehengas. But we also plan to build out a contemporary wear line. And the idea there is that anybody who has a taste for our heritage textiles should be able to wear them in the everyday, and that should not be limited only to the Indian diaspora. So for them, we will be building out a contemporary wear line, and we will be developing. We're already in the process of developing pieces for home. So, the kind of artworks that you could use for decor at home and other uses of our textiles. So those are our future plans.
That's great, and wishing you all the best for that. And I would like to add a point that you follow a limited distribution model. So
Right.
what that I would like to know,
So, Tilfi currently only sells all its textiles through its own website and through our single store, which is in Varanasi.
mhm.
That's our flagship store, which we opened in our home city. We couldn't have thought of opening it anywhere else to start. So those are the only two avenues that anybody has to purchase a Tilfi product, which is why this is a limited distribution model. Um, this is contrary to how other brands usually look to expand their reach, which is to list through multi-brand channels or to work with stockists who would keep your textiles in different cities, etc. And the reason we do that is because we believe that we are the best people to express and to communicate what our textiles are about. There is a lot of misinformation in the market around these heritage textiles. A large part of why in the 90s and the 2000s handloom textiles suffered was because of this big advent of machine woven Banarsis, at least in our space. You know, uh, there is a market for it, but the problem occurs when the end consumer cannot tell the difference, and that really, really hurts the industry. And the way to counter that is to be able to come with an authentic narrative, to be able to tell the customer and educate them what is the distinction between a genuinely handmade product and one that is not. Within the scope of handloom products, also within what we do, also there are so many finer nuances of the craft that can only be explained by the creator. So we want to control that consumer experience, and not just that. We even post purchase, we want to be able to give the customers the highest level of service that we can offer. And to be able to do that, it is much easier to do it if we control that entire process. So if you list with somebody else, you are interacting with their platform. How they handle shipping, how they handle returns, all of that is not something that we will have control over. And we value our textiles too much. So, to me, a Tilpi sari is a beautiful thing, and it should be acquired by a customer in the most seamless way, in with the right information, in the most authentic way possible. And why wouldn't you want it to be shipped from Banaras, the place where it's made? So that is why we follow limited distribution.
Perfect, perfect. You you are really a ground to earth, or I can say a person who is too much attached from the root. Like from your words, I can feel that, and that's a very appreciating thing you have. I would like to know like what philosophy or a value you believe in as an entrepreneur, and you are now a woman entrepreneur. So, for all the women entrepreneurs out there, what are your values?
You know, I think there will be a time when people will not have to say woman entrepreneur, when it would just be an entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Uh, yeah, I think there will be a time. Maybe it's not there yet, but there will be a time when we wouldn't need these qualifiers of like, lady boss or women entrepreneur. Um, I think a lot of women feel that um, they have to, possibly plan for the right time, to take a plunge or to take certain career decisions or life decisions. And I just feel that there's never going to be a right time. You just have to do it. As long as you have the preparation, the clarity of vision, and a conviction in what you're setting out to do, don't wait for the right time. Just go ahead and do it. When we started Tilfi, all the people around me, including my own mother, who would be a shopper for Tilfi, right? Uh, all of them said that who's going to buy textiles online? Sarees, kaun kharidega online? You have to touch and feel it, and you have to try it on, and we knew that if we are able to communicate what exactly it is you're buying into, if you're able to have an authentic voice around it, and if I can figure out how else to counter those challenges, people will go and shop, and that turned out to be right. But if I had really doubted myself back then and felt that maybe I should wait for Indian e-commerce to develop a little, maybe the market will grow. If I had waited for all of that, then a lot, I would have missed the bus maybe. And I think that that is something that, I think women tend to do a lot more than men, which is wait for the right time, whether it is, trying to balance your priorities when it comes to your personal life, or, in every other scenario, we question ourselves far more than men do. And I think sometimes you should trust yourself a lot more.
Yeah, so I must quoted that Aditi, co-founder of Tilfi, believes to never wait to
But
do.
don't, there will never be a right time. If you
Yeah,
think that there will be a right time to do something, there's never going to be a
yeah,
right.
yeah. With this, Aditi, it was great talking to you. The message, the values you hold are amazing. We really appreciate like your charisma will inspire a lot of ladies out there, and may you continue this journey with a great success. I hope you like
Thank you
our
so much.
conversation.
Yes, yes, it was very enjoyable. Thank you for asking very interesting questions.
Yeah, so there's a small for everyone, you can check out all these interviews on our YouTube channel, that is SME Venture, and even on our website and other social media like platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So please do like, share, follow SME Venture. Visit Tilfi if you go to Banaras or visit online. A small message from me, and wishing Tilfi and the team, Miss Aditi, all the best. With this is your host Yasmin Khan signing out for the day. Thank you.